I did it! I got it!
Dang, dude. Did you actually do the original 100 Thieves logo?
I, I just did what I thought
I'm
was
just saying,
best.
no, I'm saying, did you do the, like, it looks like you designed that, right?
Yeah, that's what I did.
That's
I
in 3
can't. I
minutes, that's
barely
great.
got that done. By the way, everyone, I got told 10 seconds left, and I just finished that. So we got it just in the nick of time. We're getting ready for our second best of 3 for our round 4, the upper bracket. One team will move on and meet Team Liquid Academy. But between 100 Thieves Academy, this one? Yep, the 100 Thieves Academy, Wildcard Red, both really stacked teams, even though 100 Thieves Academy have brought in Gomsu and Chad from 100 Thieves Next into the team. They've been looking pretty damn strong regardless.
They really have. And Ryoma, I absolutely love this mid laner. And I think, one of the coolest parts of this matchup might not necessarily even be towards the mid lane because you got so much strength there. I mean, it's gonna be a pop off, but I'm really interested to see how the bottom lanes match up here. For 100 Thieves, you've got Luger and Poom. Luger is an exceptional ADC, but on the other side, you have a lot of season. You've got a lot of time put in with Arrow and then Daption as well, and the two of them have been really showing a lot of cohesion and teamwork together. So I think that for me, at least in this matchup, is going to be the one that I'm really focusing on to see where the sway comes through.
Well, and this game has more than just the proving grounds on the line for a lot of these players. Gomsu and Chad, I was told by Smacks, actually, he was filling me in on a lot of the information when it comes to scouting grounds, because that's still going to be taking place over in November. And a lot of the players, especially 400 Thieves Academy, for Wildcard Red, are playing to make sure they can secure a spot in the scouting grounds. Winning this will guarantee a lot of players like Winston, like Bradley's already guaranteed to go to the scouting grounds. But over on the other side, Gomsu and Chad are playing for spots in the scouting grounds as well.
Yep, they absolutely are. And there's just so much power in terms of the individual players here. It's hard to even put a focus anywhere. I think that's where the most contention is going to be, at least towards the bottom side. But the power that they bring in through Gomsu, Chad, Ryoma, and then Brandini, Winston, and Bradley can just be really oppressive. Wildcard have been in the past a little volatile. Their consistency has kind of jumped around. They are quite consistent, but occasionally will make some aggressive plays. Maybe the ego gets a little bit too far behind them. So I think for this one, I'm anticipating 100 Thieves taking a game off if they're able to play clean and if they're able to get a good draft. Because as we saw in that last matchup, that last best of 3 between Team Liquid Academy and Dignitas Academy, that comp can potentially be everything.
But the thing for me is that I talked about it with Dignitas Academy, a team winning the Proving Grounds qualifiers on a hot streak for quite some time. Same looking over at Team Liquid Academy. Speaking of hot streaks, is a Wildcard Red. This team has won every one of the qualifying tournaments in this summer split, and they are looking to win the Proving Grounds themselves. Stopping short, just getting second or getting third is not enough for this team. They are here for the full Grand Slam. They want every single tournament championship.
This is a good place for them to continue on. Like we heard a little bit earlier, though, there's no fear in Team Liquid going into any of these teams, really. So Team Liquid has a lot of confidence, and we'll see. I guess, towards the end of it, we may end up getting another tiebreaker. Not today, of course, but just towards that side of the bracket for really, really successful teams here. So Wildcard Red they're absolutely going to try to do their best to make these games as quick as possible and make this a 2-0 sweep. Because they're the kind of team that they have a plan, they have a win condition, and they invest absolutely everything into that, into committing and executing it as quickly as possible.
I mean, right now I'm trying to just count up all the series victories because I did it with Dignitas, I did it with Team Liquid, and I mean there's just so many for Wildcard. It's like before it was easier when it was just 6 or 8 for Dignitas and for Team Liquid, not respectively. But for Wildcard, they're in the double digits at this point. They're on, I think, their 11th series victory in a row. That's how many, and that's just counting like the playoffs of all of those qualifying turns, not the group stages as well. I'm not going to get into all that. They are on such a hot streak. This team is such a terror. And you talked about them being volatile. I feel like that's more just because they tend to play with their food.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
know how damn good they all are that they get a little cocky. They're like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I feel like going into a team like 100 Thieves Academy, you can't be that cocky. This is a team that has amazing drafting. Golden Glue, their coach, has done a fantastic job for this team. But at the same time, it is still Wildcard Red we're talking about.
It's true. It is. And I want to confirm, is this the side selection? Do we have...
I don't know. I just
out of curiosity. I know you just meant, also the graphics that we had going through. Somebody just said it, but I did not. That didn't make... Who's on? 100. Okay, 100 on blue. All right. 100 Thieves. So it is going to be 100 Thieves starting on blue, Wildcard Red starting on red. So we'll have to see what the early picks are. If the priority is for Varus, just as it has been in really a lot of this meta in the last couple of weeks for that first pick, or if we're gonna see if we're gonna see the Ziggs come through again. I feel like those two are kind of the swappable bans, potentially, just because it's a lot of power towards the bottom side of the map, with Ziggs being in that ADC position a good portion of the time. So I'm very curious to see where this pick ban phase really starts out for them, and if they follow the same rules as a lot of the other teams we've seen.
For me, it's like I go into this one, I'm looking at, you got Arrow, you got someone who's obviously incredibly competent. This is one of the best ADCs we know in the entire world, going up against someone like Luger, who's a great up-and-coming talent, who's been proving himself very well in just Academy season, in the Academy playoffs. And how he's done so far in this tournament. This is a guy many people, including myself, talk about. We want to see him in the LCS one day. We want to see how he's going to do. But, like you were talking about, the meta picks of the Varus and Ziggs are always going to be something that you have to keep your eyes on. But I don't know if these two players are going to really commit fully for that style. Obviously, they can. But these are people who I expect to play some fun things. I expect a lot of bans towards Arrow, because we've seen that already. And I expect the same treatment towards Luger.
Yeah, totally. That bottom side, again, really the most contention. There's just powerful players all across the board for both of these teams. And I think execution of the composition is going to be it. Like I said, Wildcard Red, they pick a win condition. They start their draft, whether it's even at the beginning with the bans, to try to cancel out some things that aren't just good for the other team. Because I feel like Wildcard Red is kind of at that point. They're like, we don't care. You guys can pick anybody. It's what we want. That's what we're concerned about. So the bans are going to be huge here for Wildcard Red, but they're just so dang aggressive. I can imagine some real cheeky picks coming in towards the end of this selection.
Well, let's find out. We've got our champion select ready for our second best of 3 of round 4. One team will move on to meet up against their competition in Team Liquid Academy, the #1 seed. One team will fall down into the lower bracket and have to fight for their lives in the best of 5s. But we start off with an Aurelia ban towards both Bradley and Brandini, and then the Tristana towards Luger. I told you, I'm expecting to see a lot of ADC bans this game.
And it's a good idea, because if you limit out ADCs, there's not a lot of availability and really, really strong power picks right now. Tristana, definitely one that is specific towards Luger, not one that's super common, especially not as a first ban coming through. But, with having a really high priority on, basically, it's a lot of Varus, Ashe, Aphelios, mostly in favor for those three. Limiting Luger is going to be helpful, but they also have the opportunity for 100 Thieves to make that first pick. So there's only so much you can take away and then leave yourself with as well.
That is true, but then again, it is also Arrow. I have a feeling Arrow can play almost any ADC that you can fathomably imagine, except maybe like, Soraka ADC, but that's more what I do. Anyways, in this game, we see that Twisted Fate has been banned away by 100 Thieves Academy. Taking that away from Bradley. Varus has been banned by the side of Wildcard. Not too surprised. You were talking about that, him being such a meta champion, but look at that. You were mentioning the Aphelios, something that could be left open, but as predicted, as both of us had thought, the ADC is being pinched on both sides.
That's 3 down out of 5 bans right now. The majority of bans focusing to ban out Luger and Arrow. We're going to have to see how Wildcard Red rounds this one out. I mean, it's really limiting the possibilities that they've got. There's no Ziggs ban, so that is an opportunity, but that also might be something. It's kind of fallen a bit out of the meta to where there are certain teams that absolutely will lock that in early on if it comes through. A lot of these teams now realize that there's a lot more priority in some of the bruisers, in, the the Varus as the ADC or the really strong junglers. And so that's where I thought 100 Thieves Academy is going to go with here for Chad, locking in that Lee Sin.
See, the thing is, for me, it's both these ADCs that I know they can play it, but I don't expect the Ziggs to be their champion that they really, really want to be able to grab for themselves. It's not like Yon before. His Ziggs is one of those things that you have to fear, you have to respect. Here, both of them would much prefer to be on typical marksman. That's something that's more standard. That's why we're seeing the Lee Sin picked up for Chad. You see Winston getting Xin Zhao on the other side. Two junglers that we've been seeing throughout the summer split be dominating champions, both either in lanes when it comes to Lee Sin, now recently getting back into the jungle, or just Xin Zhao in general.
And it feels really good to pick the Xin Zhao into the Lee Sin. Having the Crescent Guard as an ability for such a heavy initiator, somebody that needs to be on top of the team to find a good fight, is really good. Wildcard Red recognizing that they have the advantage there. There was a hover over the LeBlanc, but no, it is instead going to be the Rise locked in here for Bradley, which is, I mean, a name that we have just heard so much of across so many different teams. Such a successful player here, so certainly one that 100 Thieves Academy is going to need to be cautious around, especially with that lock-in. Very powerful pick, but hey, I love it. I love to see the Orianna in response to the Rise. I've seen quite a bit of the Syndra, the Orianna, but looks like Ryoma is going to pick that Shockwaver.
But see, I kind of want to go back and just talk about Bradley. His journey is so fascinating. This player who, for the longest time, it was all about assassins. It was all about how he can play the LeBlancs, the Zeds. I mean, he's played that Aurelia. We saw that band. Wait a minute. Wait. You know what that is, right? You know what that is, right? Right there.
Yeah, I've heard the game, so.
But do you know where he's going?
I mean, it's not Poom, is it?
Yes, it's
Poom. It is Poom, of course,
of
course. I mean, you're not going to throw Chad onto the Amumu, so it is Poom. It's going to be responded with by a tank in turn for Wildcard Red. They're locking in the Braum before the second round of bans just to ensure that they have some survivability and a little bit of recourse, being the concussive blows, having the shield up to try to at least absorb damage from whoever this ADC will be in Arrow.
See, now this is something that Ender has had to give me. That I am the inventor of a Mumu support.
Oh.
He might hate it, but it's true. I invented Nautilus Mid. That many people questioned that one, and rightfully so. But this one I genuinely actually came up with years and years ago, back when it was, I think, Season 8, when Mage bot lanes were all the rage. That's when I'm like, play this bot lane. It's great. And now you can see here, Kalista is a great thing to pair up with that because you can toss him in easy to get the Curse of the Sad Mummy. But then Draven banned away from Eros. And honestly, I'm just expecting there's another one. Ban the last ADC. Just get rid of all the ADCs. Who needs to play them?
I mean, not these guys, clearly. That is going to be 4 of 5 bans for Wildcard Red on ADCs. Currently 2 of 4 on the other side for 100 Thieves Academy. I wouldn't be surprised if they ban out Ashe or something like that, because she has been a relatively high pick, just because the Enchanter Crystal Arrow is huge later on in assisting things, plus that volley, the cooldown on it being so low can really come in clutch. And Caitlyn, I have not seen Caitlyn in a while. Pairs up really well with the Braum, though. However, so does Ashe. You know, you got that Freljordian combo down there, too. So there's still an Ashe available. Aside from that, there's no more ADCs in this game. I mean, there are, but...
I mean, yeah, we got Kai'Sa still, but we haven't seen Kai'Sa. Jinx is another one that Arrow can easily grab. Late game scaler that I've seen a lot over in the LPL. And now getting that locked in here by Arrow, a classic late game crit marksman. But what does Luger want to play into that with the Amumu support to back him up? Does he go for the mage, or do they actually go for an ADC?
The only concern with going for a mage on this one would be the fact that would be 3 AP members. And granted, yeah, you're not going to be, it's going to be, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be, less damage coming out of Poom, but at the same time, you need to get some spread on the damage across the board. Otherwise, Wildcard is just going to be able to buy a little bit of magic resist and be totally fine. Especially with a lane like that, Braum and Jinx is another fantastic combo, because when you use Get Excited, you have the ability to come through, follow up with the W, because Braum's relatively slow, so you can follow it up, jump ahead if you need to, and really get excited on Braum as well. So final pick, 100 Thieves Academy, locking in that Renekton there for Gamsu on at the top side, and now it's just up to Wildcard Red to respond in that same lane. Hey,
and this
finally.
is interesting. This is interesting because I would have expected, if you gave me these drafts initially, that would be Gamsu onto the Ornn going into this day, not the Renekton, and Brandini would be the one on Renekton, not onto Ornn. But I actually love this Ornn pick for Wildcard Red. ADFX, look, this draft has so much scaling with it. You get the ornaments coming in, you got Rise, you got Jinx, you got Xin Zhao, you got Frontline all over the place. This is great from them to be able to scale up into the game so long as they can keep this game long and drawn out. On the flip side, though, 100 Thieves Academy are a composition that does not want to scale up, and they want to play aggressively from moment one. That's what's going to be interesting for me.
It certainly is. I'm a little worried. I'd love to get the, I'd love to take Ornn into really anything that's trying to deal damage. Anything that's deciding to deal damage is like, no, get away. I'm Ornn. I have abilities that are going to throw you back. So that's going to be a good point of contention, but it's really the bottom lane that we're going to have eyes on.
But we're going to toss a step break. We'll be right back for the game. Stick around. Welcome back. It is game one, best of 3, 100 Thieves Academy, Wildcard Gaming. Only one team can meet up with Team Liquid Academy and continue through the upper bracket. And it all starts here with Boom on it to the support of Mumu, my special.
Hey, your special, the one that you created. I hope Boom knows this and is aware that he's flaunting your style right here.
It's okay. I'm okay with people taking my style. It's, you know, it's flattery, really, when people copy you. But here, as much as I respect the play from 100 Thieves Academy, trying to play aggressively, like I said, from moment one, Brandini, he knew exactly what was happening. He read that from the moment he spawned, like, yeah, they're probably going to look for a play top. I'm not even going to bother going near that tri-brush.
Yeah, walked very short, a short distance. And you had Bradley, who was kind of up there, the same recognition coming through. A ward has been placed just to try to keep an eye and see if Chad is going to make any sort of move early on towards the top half of the enemy jungle, but that's not going to be the case here. We are going to start towards the bottom. Red buffs across the board for both of these seeds.
And here, you know, I'm kind of just looking at this, and the more I think about it, the more I like this Kai'Sa-Amumu combination. It reminds me a lot of when Kai'Sa Nautilus was all the rage, when people were playing those, because the level 2, the power you got from that, adaptation here to be able to spot him out is going to be nice. But once we see that level 2 from Poom, his bandage toss, remember, it's got the reload system. He's got 2 now in the chamber that he can use.
Oh, God, I forgot about that. I haven't seen a Mumu in such a long time, at least casted a Mumu in such a long time. That's brutal. That is brutal, and the killer instinct should provide some reinforcement if Poom finds later on in the game, at least. You know, once you hit level 6, if Poom finds a good initiation, you have the potential for Luger to jump on in with that ultimate in Kai'Sa.
Well, that's going to be the big thing. Poom's got to land these bandage tosses. He's missed a couple of them so far, but honestly, it's not the worst thing in the world because you can see the pressure. It forced Arrow back. You had to be so cautious going near those minions, and having to let a couple of them die without getting anything from it is going to give that level and that experience lead to Luger, to Poom, as should really be when you have a Kai'Sa-Amumu lane functioning, similar to how the Kai'Sa Nautilus before had been.
Right. It's going to be a slower start than I expected from Wildcard. They're looking for something. They are not a team to take things lightly. A nice little trap, though. He's at least going to stall out Poom. That's about half health. He's going to have to burn some pots.
Yeah, just a bit though. The thing is, that's fine. He has the relic shield, so he can heal back up from them. There, they forced it underneath the turret, both Arrow and Daption, so they can't move anywhere. This is what I'm expecting from Wildcard. Even if they normally are a team that play aggressively, they like to really flaunt those leads early and end games quickly. They didn't draft for that this time around. They drafted to kind of hold on, to farm it out, to wait until the mid, wait to the late game, until they really can have that explosive fight that will win it all.
Yep, they got to stall it, but you kind of talked about, look at Brandy, look at that damage coming from Ornn. It's just, honestly, Ornn does way more damage than he should as the champion that he is, taking up so much and absorbing so much damage, having such high survivability, and then having that burst on top of it is crazy to me, but Brandini's going to have to be careful, though, because still being pushed under tower. Bradley now on the other side taking a lot. Both members relatively low here on mana, but it's going to be a recall coming from Bradley. Still no deaths. What I was saying before is you were talking about how 100 Thieves has the opposite side of that coin that you were talking about with Wildcard, where 100 Thieves, they're the ones that need some early initiation. They're the ones that have the advantage for the early game and don't want to allow Wildcard to scale. So once they're able to make a move, we'll likely see something come through, but no offensive vision just yet in anticipation, or what I expect to see in anticipation of a gank.
Not yet, at least. Just waiting it out. I want to see now that Chad's gotten an early back in. Same with Winston. They both have pickaxes in their inventory. Not actually the Sheen start that we tend to see when it comes to Ninja Jungle for Winston, which is interesting for me, but to me it almost indicates that he is looking for an early gank. He's looking to have that damage, and in particular, into this top side. Despite the fact that Brandy doesn't have any mana, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be Winston that they want to funnel the gold into anyway.
Exactly. Brandini still has just enough to at least be able to hold off Gamsu here a little bit. Pings aren't coming through, though, even with Brandini stuck underneath tower like that. It's going to give the opportunity here for Gamsu not only to get a recall, but likely put down some vision if it was available for him. I'm assuming that one was placed there. I can't quite see. But that's going to make it a lot harder now for Winston to come through, and he's already got one. Yeah, it's going to be a lot harder for Winston to come through and try to find a gank like that if he's pushed forward.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, it's like I was expecting it. I'm like, okay, you can play around this, but again, they don't need to. There's no reason to rush this, unless it's like everything falls into place. All the pieces fall perfectly. Why bother? Just wait it out, farm it up, get the gold into the right people, make sure that there's no play on the other side, that 100 Thieves aren't really beating. You can see the gold is dead even between the two teams. Sure, only 5.5 minutes in the game. That's perfect. Just keep waiting. Wait until about 20 minutes into the game, or find a pick like this on a Ryomo. That'd be nice, but he still has the flash available, so you're not really fully going to be able to commit to that. With the shockwave coming in on Bradley, he'll be able to get back out of there. He's fine.
Yeah, didn't actually. So Bradley, I think, would have taken tower damage, but walked just outside of tower range and was pulled back in with the shockwave. So I think Ryoma anticipating or hoping that there would be a little bit of tower damage applied there, but no, Bradley just able to walk away, no problem, no flash needed, none of that needed. So that is an ultimate down from Ryoma, but it's a pretty quick cooldown. Shockwave isn't too bad.
And the thing for me is that the shockwave used there, Ryoma forced underneath so far into his turret, meant that Winston was able to get an easy dragon. They can make this lane to bot lane. They got the traps on the Luger. They've got the zap on him as well with the exhaust too, but the TV behind. Dash flashed away to be able to survive. Here comes Boom getting the cleanse and the flash away. First blood picked up by Luger. Bradley getting a lot of damage with the Room Prison on Ryoma, spreading that damage out. Winston's on the other side. They could dive this if they want to with how low the members of 100 Thieves Academy are at the moment. But they're waiting it out. They're waiting for the minions to crash into the turret so they can easily dive onto 100 Thieves Academy, who are far back. 3 members still strong, but they've got nothing in the tank. They're so low on the health bars. Ryoma's down. Excited Arrow is with 3 kills easily picked up. It's traded for only 1 in the top lane, but honestly, Wildcard, it is perfect for them.
They feel more than okay with giving that one up. They expended a lot of summoner spells down there to pick up the kills, but my goodness, that was very, very well played. Really good patience as well coming from a Winston. We saw in that Tribush, just kind of expecting, all right, there might be a ward here. Let me walk forward and see if they respond to me, then recognizing, all right, I got to move down. Even though they will have vision on me in this brush, there's nothing that they can do about it. We're going to take another quick look at the replay. The concussive blows is really huge. Once you got concussive blows, you throw the traps down as Jinx. It was a nice heal there that meant that there had to be the turnaround by Daption and Arrow. And a good flash forward from Arrow to try to, it was avoiding really that Void Seeker, but also just trying to get out of the fight. And here, Winston, you can see a little bit of hesitation saying, okay, hey, are they actually... do they have vision here onto this Tribush? Realizing, no, they don't. Cool. That means I can go down to this bush. Even if they spot me in the bush, it's too late. I'm there.
And I like this play from 100 Thieves. You know, the play goes so poorly for them bot lane, but at least they get something back on the map. They're trading crush. It might be a 3-for-1, better. Well, technically 3-2, but that's better than just sacrificing everything and gaining nothing. Here at the Rift Herald, that is secured by Chad. They have Brandani. Doesn't have Call of the Forge God, though, so they cannot engage. Wildcard have to wait it out instead, and if they can find a pick, they can find a pick, but really, I think this is a greedy play coming in from them. That they're waiting it out for Luger to be able to show up into this entire fight.
This is how we expect Wildcard to play. It's going to be the advantage.
Here comes Jonte on the other side. Shockwave onto 2 members, and the Rocket getting a lot of damage. Dash is still alive, and same with Winston.
Ow!
They're barely holding on. They weren't able to take him. He's still alive. Chad, can he get the Sonic Wave into the backline to be able to finish off Winston? Yes, he can, but it's at the sacrifice of his own life and a triple kill for Bradley.
One member alive, and it's Luger just trying to get in, realizing I'm not going to make it to that fight. Let me just defend this mid lane tower. I cannot believe Winston lasted that long sitting at, has to really low double-digit health for a very long time as we take a look at the replay here. Winston recognizing, yeah, I can continue this on. Ornn is on the way. Brandini gets really good. That shot was exceptional, but then to follow it up, perfectly landing that super mega death rocket onto Chad in the backside, it wasn't enough. Look at Winston, solo, still stays alive, and it's not until Chad gets the Sonic Wave and finds them out, they're actually able to pick up 1 kill in response.
That's the crazy thing for me. It's like, if Winston dies there, I think the fight completely unravels for Wildcard. It would have been so much easier because then they could turn their attention onto the important members like Bradley or Arrow. But they got tunnel vision. They wanted Winston. They wanted Daption, who are both so low, and they just could not get them. That then Chad went in afterwards just to secure a kill. But look at Bradley. 3 kills, 10 stacks on a Magi.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can hear you now.
All right. Here now, it looks like they're going for another initiation. It's thanks to those 2 stacks of concussive blows, but it's going to be the disengage right there. Chad recognizing we don't want any of that.
Yeah, just saying, no, not today, disengaging. But honestly, if you're disengaging as this composition from 100 Thieves Academy, I talked about how they needed to play aggressively early, setting this up, but we're 10 minutes into the game, and we've had 11 kills throughout it all. It's a 1,000 gold lead right now for Wildcard, shortened up a little bit there. But this has been a bloody game for a game with a composition like Wildcards.
It certainly has. And, they had the first blood there, and 100 Thieves have kind of been getting, consolation kills after the fact. We've seen a successful multi-member fight coming through. Might be another attempt, though. The Realm Warp.
It's on to Boom. Boom, he's going to be the sacrificial lamb, so that way they can at least get 1 member out. And he's just delaying the inevitable. He knew he was dead, but as long as he wastes any time of Wildcard, it delays and could, in fact, lead to Chad maybe contesting that dragon, but I don't think he's going to.
It's going to be a tough one, especially having Arrow right there at full health. Low on mana, yes, but still capable of doing a lot of damage. And thanks to the vision that Wildcard has, it's probably a good idea that 100 Thieves also didn't. They keep positioning for that. Look at the vision towards the bottom side for Wildcard red. It's a sea of red down there. Whether it is the aggressive or defensive, it doesn't matter. That has been where they've been making their plays, so they are sure that they have the upper hand in positioning and knowledge of placement for all of 100 Thieves. They're going to continue to try to do this down here.
And the thing for 100 Thieves, too, it's like they're trying to get any of these plays to work out, be able to catch off someone like Arrow. If they can catch Bradley, get the shutdown, that'd be amazing for them. But how are you supposed to? Like you said, the sea of red that was put down by Wildcard made it so that Boom now has to spend so much time clearing up that vision, wasting his own time, meaning that there's nothing that Chad can do on the other side. There's no Scuttle Crab. He's got a little bit of vision onto Winston, who's already 2 steps ahead of him.
Yeah, 2 steps ahead and a few kills up as well. 3-0-5 for Bradley. So that's going to be the big one, like you just said there, Magical, that they're looking to really shut down. A 350 gold bounty already at 12 and a half minutes into this game. 12 stacks on the Magi's. Yep. Absolute insanity. This is not somebody that you want to just run into. This is something that 100 Thieves is going to have to calculate as their initiation onto Bradley. But at the moment, they're really just responding to Wildcard, putting pressure and making plays elsewhere on map.
And until they can actually make their own play, they're just waiting it out. They're waiting. They're being patient. They're using Killer Instinct defensively. Rock's coming in with the flash underneath. Turns to pick up the kill on Luger. This is all working out beautifully for Wildcard.
The flash right at the end from Luger. The flash, it was a heal, and then the flash, and then a microsecond later, it was death. So Luger just utilized absolutely everything there to try to stay alive. It didn't happen. That's going to allow a lot of pressure onto this bottom tower, if not allow Wildcard to get the first tower of the game, while plates are still up. There's another 40, 35 seconds left for plates to be up, and yes, they will be able to take this one. So I said it already. I said they're going to continue to do this on the bottom side. That is absolutely the expectation. It is pulling all aggro away from Bradley and allowing him to just kind of do whatever he wants.
But this is the thing, Jolly. What in the world are 100 Thieves Academy supposed to do now? How do they get themselves back into this game? I know, I saw that.
That was, I cannot, that hitbox, I'm not sure what that was. I swear that at least a hit Daption, but they're going to be able to get back. No, it doesn't hit. And you know, still Luger able to kind of climb back up, get a little bit more CS here. But this Amumu not really come to fruition how 100 Thieves was hoping towards the early part of this game.
It's just, I mean, I love the pick. Personally, it is.
Oh, yeah.
I'm rooting for it. When I see it, I'm like, yes, let's go. But it's just not doing anything right now. And look at Gamsu. He just dies immediately. We just go to the top lane, pan over there, while Winston is able to keep 3 at bay. They jump on top of him, getting a lot of damage, but they cannot continue because they saw the rest of Wildcard right behind him.
Now they're going to continue to put pressure on here. Winston is low. Chad trying to look for something. The Winter's Bite lands. It's yeah, you got Luger, I mean, coming through, but there's so much vision. Here's the problem, is even with Luger trying to come up through to maybe assist with this fight, it will be well aware, or Wildcard will be well aware of the case. And so there are pings actually coming out now instead onto Winston, thanks to Luger and Poom being down towards that bottom side. So 100 Thieves have secured themselves this Rift Herald for sure.
That was a nice play from 100 Thieves. I got really worried because I'm looking at Luger, his positioning. Even though they got a lot of damage onto Winston, the biggest problem was...
Oh my goodness.
Okay, no, it was Chad.
It was, yeah, it didn't take it. It did not take it.
I had to stop for a second. I was like, wait a minute, did he really steal that? Because they took away the execute, right?
Yep. Yeah, and it was right in, yes. And also, he was right on top of the buff. So it's not like we could see the spot of it come through there. It just immediately applied to him. So you get the little bright, that's how I saw it. Yes, I saw that little ping, that little bright ping of, half a second. Yes, I did lose a breath though. That's for sure.
I think everyone did. We were all like, whoa, what's going to go on here? But now, Chad, he's got the eye of the Rift Herald. They can utilize that to get gold onto members that desperately need it, like Luger, like Ryoma, who are still working on these items. They got the Gale for sure, but look at Bradley. He's 3-0, 14 stacks on that matchup. He hasn't completed his damn mythic yet because he doesn't have to. He can put himself behind because he can get all these stacks onto that Magi's and still be far ahead of Ryoma.
And this early boot meta has also been a big thing. This is something I've always advocated for. Well, I don't want to be that guy, but maybe I'll claim something on my own here. It's just early boots I have always loved to see, because it, especially in the current meta where positioning and mobility is so dang important, to be able to get in on fights or just barely get out in the early game, it's huge. But there's going to be Gamsu trying to go in. It's just a little bit of a poke on Winston. Wildcard wants up next.
That's going to be the call for Wildcard. Gamsu's going to be the one they put all the attention on. They got the kill into him, but they lost out on getting themselves within soul point. He's coming in from Chad, but he's still stunned up. He can't get the dash. Finally, he does. To be able to get towards Ryoma, has to use the Sonic Wave to ditch his mid laner. Well, Luger has been taking a lot of damage coming in from Winston. Another stack with the cap for Bradley. Make it more. He's got 4 more. What is that now? 18 for Bradley.
Winston totally fine with saying, go ahead, throw the shockwave. I can dash. And it did. Going down. Such Wildcard. The second.
Oh, I'm losing you a bit, Jolly. Cutting in and out a little bit. So I'll just take over the replay really quick. It was a nice pick onto Gamsu, realizing that 100 Thieves, they were not ready for that fight. They had put everything into securing the objective itself. So all they had to do was pick off these members. Unfortunate fail flash.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, there you are. You're back.
All right, cool. I wrapped it all up. Yeah, Winston right here. Watch the shockwave. Winston says, "Nuh-uh, not gonna happen." Dodges that one out, and it,
22
we all
seconds,
just
by the way.
20. All right, okay. Finally, the mythic has been finished there. The Everfrost is completed now, so Wildcard continues to get scarier and scarier. Only 5K gold lead. All right, we do have to touch on that. There's one dragon that 100 Thieves has been able to pick up. They were able to get Shelly, Kelly. So they're able to at least take things for themselves. They're going to get the charge onto this tower and should be able to pick it up as the second tower for their team. So they're still taking small victories. It's just that Wildcard totally knows in these fights when they are going to win, and they make it happen instantly without 100 Thieves having an opportunity to even react.
Well, see, the big thing for me is, like, yeah, you're getting these small prizes for 100 Thieves Academy, but you have to still face off against the monumental task of taking down a team composition that is built to scale, and you're behind that team. Sure, you have Kaisa, sure, you have Orianna, two champions that do well in the late game too, but the ornaments are the big deal, the big game-breaking thing to give both a Jinx and Rise.
You keep saying ornaments, and I just picture it with two N's.
Yeah, that's exactly how I spell it.
Is that, okay, perfect. All right, yeah, you see it, and I love this Ornn pick too. I've been kind of asking for an Ornn pick today because I think he's just incredibly powerful. He's able to absorb a lot. He has the utility as well, not just with his Call of the Forge God, but also just having the bird in general. And so I love this champion. I think it fits the utility perfectly for Wildcard, which is why they're like, excellent. All right, you guys want to give Gamsu the Renekton? This melds. I mean, just the way that we wanted it to for the composition. And each of these players recognizing, hey, I might not play the champion that I want. I might not play one of my favorites, but we're going to make it work because we're going to have a composition that we can rely on.
So really quickly, I was just adding up to see how much AP is given over to Bradley, but I'm going to have to put that on pause because the Curse of the Sad Mummy going to be crying as it's a killing spree for Brandini of all people. Kick back in onto Arrow, but who's there to catch him? They have nobody to get any damage on Arrow, so he can get right back in team, get excited Shockwave onto two members, but you already have an excited Jinx that you have to worry about. Arrow can scare off the remaining members of 100 Thieves Academy so they can easily realm warp right to the pit.
Right, just a few seconds is all they needed. Look at the amount of damage that Wildcard is getting onto this. This is ridiculous. It just spawned 15. Yeah. They're gonna take it less than 20 seconds. Less than 20 seconds right as it spawns. All 5 members available to pick up that buff. And this is where you see poor Chad. After Poom gets caught out here, Chad tries to re-engage, but the rest of the team isn't there. Poom goes down, Chad sees maybe some solid damage coming through, and then ends up just completely throwing himself out of position, utilizing the flash as well. And it was a solid attempt there from Gamsu to be the hero. It was not the one that he needed.
And shot's barely going wide. Winston, he's chasing down poor Luger, who's burning to the red buff, forced to use Killer Instinct while his support died to Arrow on the other side. He still dies in the long run of things with Gamsu. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. You got no way out of this one. You might as well try to fight valiantly, but unfortunately, we knew how it was going to end.
And that means that's a lot of members down at 100 Thieves, and a lot of members with a Baron buff on the side of Wildcard. They did manage to get a little bit of responding pressure from Ryoma there on the top, so Brandini is going to have to head up, push that one back. Not necessarily the best split pusher, but I think Wildcard's okay with that as they have pressure on the bottom. And take a look at the vision once more. It is commanding. There is, I mean, you can't see anything but red. There are blue wards in there, but my goodness, just the positioning. And honestly, it's a lot of respect. It's a lot of recognition at Wildcard. They can have a really good initiation, but they're not going to make these plays without being sure that they have the upper hand. They're going to try to go in on Chad.
He kicked Winston away, but they can easily dash in. And now fully stacked Magi's. Every single chapter is there in the book for Bradley. He's got everything he could possibly hope for. A 4-minute shockwave isn't going to mean anything. They didn't even have Poom ready for that. He flashed in, Curse the Sad Mummy onto 2 members, but he's so squishy. It's godlike Bradley with Ryoma flashing away from the rocket to be able to survive. But now you're just flashing to deny anything from Wildcard, who can easily start toppling your entire base.
And it's still Baron minions. They're going to say, all right, we can still just clear out the rest of your jungle. If that's how you want to do things, you don't want to let us get this turret, we'll just wait for another wave. And now they have a cannon minion that is buffed by the Baron as well. They're pushing forward. It's 3 members of Wildcard. They're not even solidifying all 5 members to respond to this because they know that they've got pressure elsewhere. That's going to be the realm warp, though, into the dragon. It will be soul point now for Wildcard.
But the thing for me is, do they even get the soul? Or do they end the game before that even spawns up? They have 6 minutes until that will be up and available for them, and I have a feeling this game is going to end long before then.
Yep, with the amount of gold, a 13K gold lead right now in favor of Wildcard at 23 minutes in. Now, I don't know if you guys have played a lot of League of Legends, but that's a lot of gold. That is a huge gold lead. And this game has just exploded with gold. We've got 24 kills on board. And we've had Wildcard grabbing these objectives the moment they become available. So this is really maximum gold that Wildcard could possibly give themselves or find themselves. And they make it happen. 100 Thieves, at this point, it's tough to cast this game now because 100 Thieves, there's not much that can be done.
This is one of those games that you play out just so that you can get a little bit more strategy. You can plan things out for the future. But boom, you died 6 times already. Adaption, he's got 2 levels on him. Concussive blows can stack up, and really, they don't even need to get Proudly this kill. Adaption can take it for himself if he really wanted to. Now, look at the chase down. Okay, that's a lot more damage than I expected from Proudly.
Oh, Bird, I mean, absolutely melted. It was a good attempt by Boom to not get hit by the last shot of concussive blows, and it was right at the last moment, actually. It would have gone down had it been another millisecond, but managed to move forward with it. Adaption gets it. Bradley just, gosh, melts. You said it already. All the chapters are there. All the players are in the base now. Ornn is pushing down bottom side. 100 Thieves, you cannot be down towards the river in that. It's over.
Recalling. They're just now recalling. They've lost the Nexus turret off that one. They have minions already stacked up mid lane, so they can take that. They got excited. Jinx, Arrow's already over there. Gomsu's popped Dominus to see if he can get on top of Arrow. But Arrow's got a lot to keep him alive. Here's the killer instinct coming in from Luger, but a lot of damage with that Mortal Shield though to keep him alive. Arrow flashed away. They got the kill. It's a rampage for Brandini, and Chad will join them. Same with Boom, who just respawned. Oh, for Ryoma, the shockwave couldn't even come out. With Gomsu being the survivor of the entire fight. He was the one that started it all off, and he is going to be hunted down. They want to pad those KDAs. They're at 25 kills in 25 minutes. They can make it 26 if they can find Gomsu, but honestly, Wildcard, they don't even want to. They want the game. They're here to show everyone they are the new kings of Amateur, the new kings of Academy, the new kings of the Proving Grounds.
They are going to have to win one more. Look at this. All right, this is PM. This is a little bit of PM. I got to come on, Bradley.
Guys, come on. Beautiful call there. Come on.
It was so good. It would have been so good to end on that. Don't do us like that. Don't do us like that.
Well,
Minions will save the day. Minions will save the day. I think Bradley actually might have gotten that last hit, but my goodness. They are still going to have to win one more game, so it's not quite in their bag just yet based on that first performance. It's going to be really tough for 100 Thieves to try to stay in this one and push it out to a silver scrapes.
It will be, especially with that kind of a game. That is one of those games that you see and you get a little demoralized, but you have to forget it. You have to put it back out of your mind. Go into this next game as though nothing had happened. It's brand new.
Brand new. You know, it's going to be the same sides, though. 100 Thieves has selected blue side, so still wanting to look for that early pick. You know, now with the meta kind of being broken, there's a standard meta for the other teams, and that is, you know, the Varus early pick. Not the case for these two teams, and especially not the case for Wildcard because they have such a deep champion pool. I'm pretty sure every champion is available for one of these players on this team somehow. So, you know, you got to kind of rethink things here. I'm not sure. I think allowing, like, first picking Lee Sin allows for something like Xin Zhao, like Jarvan, like these picks to come through. So I'd like to see a little bit more priority on, you know, maybe having some survivability in the jungle.
It's hard because Lee Sin is a Chad jungle champion. That is something that fits so well into his wheelhouse. And you can even see the mechanics there. You can see how he was finding the kicks onto Arrow. Had the team not been so far behind, some of those kicks were perfect. That would have gotten them right into the arms of everyone on 100 Thieves Academy, but they were so far behind that those kicks amounted to nothing.
They did, and that's where, you know, I was concerned the second I saw the Xin Zhao lock, and I'm like, excellent, this is great. Winston's like, perfect, you go ahead, you can, you know, Sonic Wave in on me, and I'll just Crescent Guard, and that's if we want to disengage from the fight, or if I want you off of me. But for an early focused composition, the fact that it wasn't allowed to be played early at all, you know, thanks to, I think the Braum lock-in really had a lot to do with that, and the Ornn lock-in. So trying to get what you know is a really solid core that no matter what Wildcard Red puts against it, you at least have this win condition.
But we'll see if it's going to continue into Game 2 for Wildcard Red, or if 100 Thieves Academy can change everything up, go back to the drawing boards, have a new strategy for Game 2, get us to Game 3, but we'll find out after break, so don't go anywhere.